So let's go there. Boy, that was a bad loss he took against Tyson Fury on Saturday. Now, you were telling me before the show, because I did not hear this when I did Dissected, that there is no burst eardrum.
Yahoo's Kevin Iole reporting that it was just a 2 or 3 centimeter cut that bled throughout the whole fight.
Still,
no broken jaw, no broken eardrum.
Fair enough, which is good to hear because those are much more difficult injuries to get over. But nevertheless, he appeared to have equilibrium issues after getting dropped in that third round from that point forward. Whether it was an eardrum, apparently not, or something else. The question is where he goes from here. So let's talk about that. You're saying he probably should and will invoke the rematch clause. Now, whether he will, I suspect...
Well, should is an interesting thing, okay?
Well, let me make this point then, because whether he will or whether he won't, I get the idea that there is a lot of growth that is possible. Even at his advanced age, he's actually older than Fury. Still, in terms of the game plan he could employ, in terms of some... I haven't said that, remember we said last week, he didn't have to change a whole lot to fight the Fury that I thought he was going to fight, add some things in, and he did go to the body. You did see some feints, it's just that Fury took it all away. But here's my point. I don't know if the folks around him are really best situated to get him where he needs to go, Brian. First of all, you had his head trainer, whether he was doing it for effect or not, saying, I don't think that they should have thrown the towel. You are out of your mind.
If he's not just trying to get Deontay's back, almost to just say, look, Deontay, I got your back. They shouldn't have thrown it. You're tough, all that. If it's really that he believes that,
but even if you do that, Brian, you're still...
I'm sitting here with my jaw dropped.
Right.
I'm literally just
Here's
like,
the thing.
He took a beating.
Fine. You take your guys back in the media and then privately you tell them something different. Okay, I understand the strategy. You're still spreading cancerous ideas. And the guy who threw the towel, forgive me his name.
Mark Breland.
Did he save Tyson, he saved Deontay Wilder.
He was the adult in the corner.
Savage beating. Yeah. So I give him all the credit
and people have to wake up. This isn't the kind of potential beating. Had he hung on for another 3-4 rounds, this isn't the kind of beating that we're just like, I don't know if he's ever going to be the same in the ring.
Altering beating.
This is like a life-altering, life-ending type thing because pillow-fisted or not, Tyson Fury 6'9", 273.
He was leaning into...
And, I mean, this is,
And when he was against the ropes where you're just absorbing... I mean, that wasn't rope-a-dope. That was just rope.
But I do want to just bring up one thing. Equilibrium shots consistently, just like a body shot to the liver can end a fight at any point, equilibrium shots change people. They're never the same in the middle of a fight. Andy Ruiz Jr., the big shot that hurt Anthony Joshua in round 3 was an equilibrium shot. He was dizzy, couldn't get his legs back under him the rest of the time. People remember Miguel Cotto, Sergio Martinez. I know there were a million knockdowns in that fight, and Sergio had a bad knee, but that first shot was equilibrium. He was never the same. I tend to believe here that as much as Deontay did get whitewashed start to finish, that equilibrium shot completely changed the fight.
Fair enough, but even before that, he was getting murked. So let's just be clear about that. But this is my point. We saw that Fury, you could make a case, obviously we thought he did win the first time out, but I thought it was so, frankly, ballsy to go and then change your trainer, and not just change the trainer, change the mindset. I'm going to be the bully, change the tactics, change the strategy, change everything, and it paid huge dividends. I'm going to say this. Deontay Wilder cannot win against Tyson Fury in all likelihood if he doesn't. Yes, I know he's got a nuclear bomb in his right hand. Didn't do him fuck all good on Saturday night against this Tyson Fury. And yes, if they fought 100 times, maybe he'd find a way to land it. But in all likelihood, this is the thing. Everyone's like, we've always known about Deontay's weaknesses. Right, but they got to live behind the reality of a right hand. Well, what happens when this is taken away? Well, now the bad parts about his boxing get magnified, and he was made to pay for them, Brian Campbell. And I'm telling you, here's the other part about this. If I can look at what little old me, a nobody, can look at what Tyson Fury was doing and finding ways to have an effect, again, before the equilibrium shot on Deontay Wilder, dude, he set a bit of a blueprint here. That's the big takeaway for me. Deontay Wilder got audited. And Tyson Fury, I'm not saying, listen to me, I know what you're going to say. Not every other boxer is Tyson Fury.
Not only that, I'm going to say there's only one, I've said it the whole build-up. There's one man who was able to do what happened on Saturday.
Okay, fair enough.
Because who else is 6'9" with that brain, with that heart?
He is the king and the king alone. I will not argue with that. What I'm telling you is any good boxer and good boxing trainer is going to look at that and say, well, maybe we can't take that. My guy can't do that, but he can do that and he can do that. And maybe they don't even win, but I'm telling you, the threat that is Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't make changes, if it's just that same one, he just got a lot less dangerous.
Yeah, he's at a potential crossroads here. I know heavyweight's aged late. I know he didn't start fighting until he's 19. I know he's 34. But this potentially is a crossroads fighter of, are you still super elite, or did this fight forever change you? You still don't know. Wilder had never lost before, and the only quasi loss that the draw, he barely took any damage. So you don't know on any fighter, Luke, how they bounce back mentally from getting absolutely devastated. I'm not willing to count Deontay Wilder out yet because, I mean, if you could have one attribute in that situation, you'd take his power, really, of anything else.
But answer this for me, and it's just a question. Do you think that his trainers and the people around him have just basically said, look, you've got game-changing power, we're not really going to do much with the rest of this?
It's fair to say that
rather than saying, you've got game-changing power and we still need to build things around
It's fair to say that in hindsight from what we just saw, but I do think Wilder has been underrated in terms of his fight IQ and setup. What Jay Dees and Mark Breland have done a great job through the years is basically do what you just said. Okay, we know he's awkward. We know we can't reteach him. I mean, look, he came to the sport at 19. People like Tyson Fury, who are sort of the rare ones, like a Floyd Mayweather, when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, they know they're going to be a fighter, right? They're already, they grow up in it. It's different. You're never going to make Deontay Wilder a perfect boxer. But is it fair now to say there were maybe potential levels of growth that just didn't happen, that maybe it's easy to say that now in hindsight. I wouldn't be against if he changed up teams completely. And I don't say that as a panic move. Oh, you lost suddenly, so let's kick these guys to the curb. Maybe add in a new influence. How many times have we seen that? How many times have we seen great fighters? There's certain great fighters like an Oscar De La Hoya who regularly sought out different trainers and switched and found different grooves. Miguel Cotto's another one who really kind of was defensive for a few years with Pedro Diaz, then found for Freddie Roach and found out how to be offensive again and was just happy with that. You may find somebody who just gets it and can speak to Deontay a certain way and get a different side out of him. He's still only 34. Heavyweight's age late. I don't feel like we have to start saying, oh, the third fight's a cash out. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think by any means.
The third fight is not a cash out provided he makes changes. Provided he does the same thing that got him there on Saturday night. You like his chances? Because I sure as hell don't.
I wouldn't predict him to win the third fight, but I'm not going to...
That was Master Yoda versus Luke Skywalker.
Dude,
that was not
I've been on the Tyson Fury train from day one-ish, okay? You don't have to teach me that. My point is, I also know who Deontay Wilder is. And let's say we have a third fight, okay? Let's say Tyson Fury is having big-time success early, but not the kind of equilibrium shot, damage, knocked him down type of success. Deontay Wilder's still going to be in that fight.
That punch did not land by accident. The punch landed by virtue of the very specific strategy and tactical approach. He was going to get bombed on.
I'm the guy on this show who said the knockout could happen. I believe that.
Fair enough, dude. I'll give you all the credit in the world. I'm not dismissing Deontay Wilder. I'm dismissing Deontay Wilder provided he doesn't make changes. If he makes the changes, I am absolutely willing to say, let's give this guy a second chance or let's see what he can do.
He's got to commit to that jab.
If he just stays in Tuscaloosa and doesn't bring somebody in or goes someplace else, I don't know what would give you confidence that would be, oh yes, he's got game-altering power. Dude, he landed 9 punches over the course of 3 rounds on Tyson Fury. It didn't do anything.
While that's true, the proof is in the pudding, as the great Floyd would say, and the pudding tells you that every single person not named Tyson Fury that's gone in there with this psychopath has finished looking up at the stars and, oh yeah, Fury got dropped twice in the first one as well. So he ain't out of this.
I'm not saying
right?
I'm not saying. Here's the thing. Remember Ronda Rousey after she lost to Holly Holm?
No, I don't. I really don't remember that. When did that happen?
She didn't make any changes.
How lame is this T-shirt, by the way? I had to get it.
Fucking lame.
I had to get it, Luke.
Where did you get it?
What a throwback, all right?
Where did you get it?
Oh, nice online deal for $4.95. Couldn't pass
You
it
love these shirts no one wants. The point being is, if you have these really bad losses where you kind of get audited, it happens where guys can go back and make changes and do something special about it, right? Tyson Fury didn't get audited in the first fight, but the fact that he got knocked down the way he did probably made him feel like he did, even though he probably took solace in getting up off the canvas. And he smartly made, I questioned it, but he was right in the end, and credit to him. I think Deontay Wilder needs to have a look in the mirror and say, how am I going to get past what happened? Mm-hmm. Doing the same old shit is not the answer. It's just not the answer ever, especially against that guy. Now, maybe he can fight Anthony Joshua down the road, and it's fine.
I think the same old shit knocks Anthony Joshua out. That's
so maybe the answer is it's just that guy. But if you're going to exercise that rubber match clause and take the third one right away, and you're going to not do anything different other than take 2 L's back to back after the draw, well, he had the 2 wins in between.
Well, let's go rumble in the jumble comparison, to be honest with you here. George Foreman, never the save in that early incarnation of him after that loss to Muhammad Ali. Yeah, got into a couple wars after that. Then he lost to Frazier in the rematch, and he went away from the sport. I know he had that miraculous comeback, but that's still in play. It's not that couldn't happen. But here's one thing I said leading into this fight. A lot of people asked me, what's the one key no one's talking about that can tell us that this is going to be a great fight? the mental toughness of both is through the roof. Tyson Fury's on a different level of mental toughness in terms of strategy, mixed with heart, mixed with all that. But Deontay Wilder was willing to go until he was knocked cold, and I have seen that in his career. Just sort of a will that brings him out. So I'm saying that I think that will overcome some of the things that were lost in this fight. Yes, to your point. Can we get somebody else in there? Can we get another voice in there? Can we re-examine what's going on? Can we maybe take the third fight later in the year and really take some time?
He has 30 days to exercise the rubber match clause. If he wants to exercise it and then give himself some time to get better, to have a real different approach and really work on some things, I think that. Then I'll be like, okay, let's see what Deontay's got. But just staying in Tuscaloosa doing the same old thing, yeah, you can beat all the same old heavyweights. You're not going to beat that guy.
And can we quickly just say, I know a lot of people are writing the column, it's a trendy thing, but it's right. Mark Breland he was a real man.
I'm not exaggerating. He was a hero that night, dude. I don't know if he saved Deontay's life per se, but he could have. He certainly. I'll never forget. Like, and we'll move on from this. Give me one fight, MMA or boxing, where you saw someone take a savage beating and they were never the same afterwards. Kermit Citron took a few of those, huh? What's one fight where you were just like, after that, they're just not the same anymore?
How about Meldrick Taylor against Julio Cesar Chavez 1? I mean, that was certainly a giant fall from grace.
For me in MMA, it's the Rich Franklin-David Loiseau fight. David Loiseau took 5 rounds of beating. His corner did not save him, and I don't think he was ever the same after that. He could still beat decent guys. He's still a good martial artist and an important contributor to the martial arts community. He was not the same prize fighter after that.
I mean, there's been many examples, but yeah.
All right.
I'm with you, Luke.
What hell of a night. Oh, last thing on this. Did you like their entrances? Jay was like, it took too long, because of course Jay said that. He's right. It did.
What other thing did Jay say today? Can we say that on the air? No, we can't say that on the air.
He was right that this part did take too long, but coming out in the throne, the women are carrying it.
This is how you win the casual fans.
This is, to me, I thought it was amazing. Dude, people want to see. When boxing is ridiculous, sometimes it's ridiculous. But sometimes when boxing is ridiculous, it's fucking grand. That is grand.
And did you hear Jay Diaz had a quote, though, where he was saying Wilder's ring entrance gear, which, by the way, was completely next level. There's rumors that it cost like $60,000 to make. His eyes were turning red like it was the old Vader thing.
He looked like a Mardi Gras Decepticon.
Yeah, there he is. That it was too heavy and it may have wore down his legs.
Do you know who also used that excuse, by the way? Remember Joe Son, when he fought in UFC, would carry the big cross?
Oh, yeah.
He would get to the cage and be like super winded. It's like, dude, maybe don't carry lumber to the fucking
remember they used to have this clown named Michelle Pineda who would do the dance routine on the way in and then gas out. Hey, Joe Son, not a great human. After that
I think he died.
No, I think he's still alive.
I think he got murdered in prison.
After that run on the Austin Powers movies as, what was it, Odd Job or something?
Or
Judo Chop?
Rapist? I think
he was a rapist, yeah.
By the way, I didn't...
So was Kevin Bacon in Sleepers.
MMA fans failed to appreciate that. Did you see how Wilder and Fury each had their own logos on their gloves? I was like,
yeah.
MMA fighters just paying attention.